You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only1 Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit only1mediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Yo, what is up? And welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I am your host, dini-mussolini, and there are over 27,000 of you guys in our chat room right now on the browser, Google Hangouts, Skype, and on our phone lines. I just want to thank you guys so much for being a part of our live audience. It means so much to me. I feel like I should send all of you guys like a turkey sandwich or something, maybe. I don't know. Oh, man, I hope you guys had a great holiday and enjoyed this morning's show as we talked to a friend of mine in the UK who's going through a bit of a legal battle, so we got a chance to discuss that on this morning's episode. Pretty intense. So check that out. It'll be out sometime, maybe tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. So we have a very special guest for tonight's episode, which is why all of you guys are here, right? You're not here for Dini. You have to be here for our special guest, and that's cool. My feelings are not hurt, not in the least bit. The show must go on, right? It's cool, though. So weakness comes from being too spread out. Power comes from concentration. Excellence in any pursuit requires single-minded focus. Focus in turn requires purpose and commitment. If you're going to do something, then give it all of your attention. By committing yourself in this way, you'll achieve great things. The power of single-minded focus does not just come to you. It is the result of a choice that you make, a choice to forsake all of the distractions of the moment and concentrate on achieving your goal. Focus requires that you constantly remind yourself of what's important to you, of what you are committed to achieving, with a clear, specific sense of direction and the discipline to stay on track. Your actions will be powerfully focused and effective. Know what you want, then choose to focus on making that happen. Take that from me, Dini-Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello, and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music, or the book, or film, or even the business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create these marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. Big ups to my folks who are indigos, crystalline, or the starseeds, for my Vigilantes audience family, for my hooligans, and shout out to my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're in a struggle like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 5 solid years. I appreciate to all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, films, and research in every aspect. And we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists, nominees, to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology revolutionaries, visual artists, from authors to professors and vampires. or people who think they're vampires. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out to book your interview or to appear on my other show called Skeptics. Email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com, and that's V as in Victor. We hope to get the stories behind these unique people and give them a chance to tell their truth to us and the universe. That is Vigilantes Radio sole purpose. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Share that number with your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. So feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab them from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, Player.fm, YouTube, any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired.
Well, tonight's interview is the Obi1 Interview, and again, I am your host, Dini. As part of our ongoing commitment to helping undiscovered musical talent get exposed worldwide, Vigilantes Radio will post interviews regularly with an in-depth question and answer and pass them on to you, the music lovers. Take some time, pull up a chair to hear about a great artist you might not have ever heard of before. Tonight we're interviewing the gospel artist Obi1, and with that, let's go ahead and welcome him to the show. Hey Obi1, you're now live in the midst with all of us. How's it going?
Awesome. Great. Thank you for having me tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having a good conversation, getting the world to hear for the first time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, man, I am super excited as well. Ready to dive deep into your story, your backstory. I always like to hear the backstory behind artists and why they do the things they do with music. So, let's jump right in. When did you realize that music was the thing to do for the rest of your life?
Well, I've been performing music since I was a child. I was 3-4 years old. My mom took me to Sunday school. I was in Sunday school choirs, talent shows, leading worship at church, the whole shebang. And I've also been writing songs too for a long time now. I have a journal where I write down all of my life experiences and those challenges I have and those rough patches in my life. And, I just journal those seasons of my life as well as my prayers and plans during those times. And this kind of helps me keep the material that I eventually use for my songs. I think at some point, we all have that moment where we look at life and, decide if we're satisfied with just doing the status quo, going to work every day and just making a living, or, choosing to do something that's a lot more significant. And mine was a couple of years ago. My mom, had a stroke and was going through some, really just serious health issues. And I was walking through that season with my family. It was a pretty rough time. But God healed her, and I'm thankful for that. And it was at that point I really began to consider recording my music. So that's really how it kind of started a couple of years ago, through that experience. And, it's been, pretty much sailing ever since. So, yeah.
Definitely. Wow, it's quite a story. In between those times when you started out at a very young age, getting into the motion of music, was there any point in your life that you stopped doing music?
I think there was a season, it was in my early 20s. I started going through some, depression. I had some issues. I just lost a job and things weren't going well for me. I just kind of took a step back from all of it. I was really, downcast for a period of about 6 months, in my life. And I think I may have been 22 or 23 at the time. It was just a really hard time for me. But that was one of the times where I stopped. But ultimately, I realized music was a passion for me, and it was something that I really enjoyed doing. And really gave me a sense of purpose, a joy that very few other things could give me. So I quickly found myself going back to it, and really as a means for me to get back into just living life and enjoying life the way I've always enjoyed life. It's a passion, it's a field of mine that I just love, and so I can't really stay away from it for too long.
Definitely. And going into your story a bit, you are originally from Africa.
Yeah.
And now you're in the States, in Texas.
Yes, I am.
How did you come to be, or how did that whole move happen for you, and why?
I really just came for college, came to get, an education.
Right.
I was about 17 when I moved, and it was a pretty scary thing because I was going to a completely different country. I didn't have really any friends and didn't really know many people. I had some cousins that lived in the U.S. and Nashville, Tennessee, but that was about it. I had, left my parents at the age of 17 and come to a whole brand new country. And it was a scary time for me as a teenager, but I got used to it, and, I love it here. So it's been good. It's been good.
Okay. Nice. So how is the music scene in Texas? There's a lot of mega churches out in Texas. There's Joel Osteen.
Absolutely.
I can't think of the rest, but Texas is a huge, I don't want to really say religious part of the country, but very big on Christianity out in Texas. Good old American type of, upbringing. So how's the gospel music scene out there in Texas?
Yeah, the gospel music scene is pretty heavy. Like you said, rightfully so, we have a lot of mega churches, Joel Osteen's church, Lakewood, and Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, and Covenant Church, Potter's House. So it's a pretty busy, state in regards to gospel music. There are a lot of great artists that come out of Texas, especially the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where I am. So it's a challenge to kind of be heard in a state like this where you have so many great talents and people who just are really passionate about getting their work out there and having people hear them. But it's certainly not a deterrent for me. I'm pushing forward and I'm doing the best that I can. And I believe I have a voice and something, a message really to share with the world. And so I'm excited for it, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. So it's absolutely a great city and a great state to be, for gospel music. And so, I'm excited for that.
Definitely. Do you currently sing in any choirs at your church?
Yes, I'm actually one of the worship leaders at Covenant Church.
Wow.
In the city, so one of the big mega churches here. So it's exciting. I get to lead worship on Sundays and share my music, really, and my passion for God and for music with my community here. So it's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing, and it kind of creates a platform for you. Have you ever pushed any original music?
Well, this is I have an upcoming album, and it's really my debut kind of outing, pushing my original worship music, and I'm really excited about it because I've had the opportunity to lead worship on multiple continents, both in West Africa as well as here in the United States, and so I have a different sound, if you will. It's kind of a fusion of two cultures and two traditions, if you will. It's really kind of a story of my life. I've had the opportunity living in Nigeria, doing worship there, and then coming here to the United States and living in Nashville, Tennessee, the center of country music in the world, and then coming here to Dallas, Texas, and just kind of having that fusion of all these different cities and locations, and that's really visible in my music, and you can hear that all through all of the tracks on my album. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. And we can talk more about that as we go on.
Definitely. So, what would you say is still one of the biggest challenges that you face as an indie artist? I couldn't imagine. Are you currently signed to anybody, signed to yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm signed to myself. I'm an independent artist, so I'm signed to myself. I'm pretty much like, you know, I'm essentially my representative, if you will. I think the biggest challenge for any independent artist is really just beyond just having the talent, which I know I have, and having great songs and writing great songs and producing great material. I think it's really just being able to push your album once it's out, or your single, and to as many people as possible. When you have a record label, they're able to do that for you. You have a strong team around you to help you, you know, market your music and get your product out there. But when it's just you, you're pretty much the product, and you have to do the best you can to get your music in the ears of as many people as possible. So that's the challenge. It's really, you know, a tough job to do, but making no excuses, it's absolutely fun to do that. People are always very receptive of great artists, and they love to hear the music, and that hasn't changed in history. So I'm pretty sure that the world is, you know, waiting to hear my music, and would love to hear it once it's all out. I have an album called Speak Lord coming out in the summer of 2019, and July 2019. I'm excited about that because I have some great music that I think the world is going to be willing and would love to hear. So,
right on. Yeah. There are artists, gospel artists, Christian artists, who have perfected their craft and kind of have their own signature sound. I mean, I can go far as back as Kenneth Copeland. That's what I grew up off of, listening to his gospel music. Then there's Mary, BB and CeCe Winans, Kirk Franklin. All have their own particular style. The way you can tell one of their songs when it comes on the radio. Have you established like the official Obi1 sound?
Yes, I think I have established my sound. You know, I'm a fusion of sound. Again, music is a story. I look at music as kind of a montage of your life, and that's one of the things I really want to incorporate in my music. Is all of the different things that have influenced my life over the course of the years. You know, from being back home in West Africa to coming to Nashville, Tennessee, and also, you know, being here in Dallas, Texas, and living in all these different cities and continents, and that has really kind of tailored the type of sound that you anticipate to hear from me. I don't sound like anybody. I have a lot of influences, but I don't really sound like any one person. I'm unique to who I am. My music is very unique to me because it's really just my experiences that I'm tailoring out and making it, putting a melody behind it and track and beats and all of that, and I'm giving it out to the world to hear me as an individual, and also giving a message that I believe is from God into my life that I believe can reach the world. So my sound is unique to me, and I think it's something I'm excited to share with the world.
Definitely. Okay. Now, this is my next question is about your perspective at a time like this for our country. It seems like you can't stand for anything without offending someone. I mean, they already took prayer out of school. You know, they took the Bibles out of school some odd years ago, maybe 10, 15, 20, maybe 20 years ago. I remember being in a private school and then switching over to public school, and all of a sudden we can't pray anymore in the morning. So I did go through that. But like I said, it seems like you can't stand for anything without offending anyone. Have you experienced any censorship when it comes to the things you believe in and what you stand for?
You know, I think censorship is simply just being wise about how your words are interpreted by listeners. As a Christian artist, I really want my words to point people to Jesus. He's the source of all love and compassion. And what I say matters, and how I say it also matters. I want people to see Jesus Christ in me. And I think when they do that, the offense goes away, or there's no room for offense, if you will. So I just believe in loving people and being the best example I can be. I try not to be inflammatory in my remarks and comments. I love people where they are, and and that's it. That's really what censorship is. It's just being wise about using your words and building people up as opposed to tearing them down.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, what about online? When it's not music related, and maybe you feel strong about a situation that's happening in our country or in your community or in your church. Of course, we know there's all kind of scandals everywhere. Seems like they're not off limit to anything no more nowadays. What about that? Do you feel a need to watch what you say when you're online?
I think absolutely. I think everyone, has to be conscious of who's listening and what's important to share. You have to make a conscious decision every day on what kinds of things to say. Like I can't go to work and say certain things to my boss, right? I might feel a certain way about it, but I know better to not say it, or at least to tailor my conversation to where I say it in the right way. And there's no difference with that in social media. Obviously, there's a lot going on in our country. There's temptation to go out there and just be abrasive and say what you want to say. I believe in speaking the truth to the best of my ability, but I also believe in loving people and understanding where they're coming from and their perspective. So my goal is to make sure that I speak my truth as best as I can, but at the same time be a willing ear to listen to what other people are saying, what their opinions are about certain issues. Because I think ultimately it's up to, to us to really sit and dialogue and make sure we understand where each other is coming from. That's the only way that we can bring true, just sanity and peace to our country. So that's the way I see it. I speak my truth, and I do it in love and respect.
Okay, nice. So how has the reaction been since you dropped your latest singles?
For my people, and I think the response has been incredibly positive. My social media page, Facebook page, Obi1 Music, it's been buzzing since my singles were released. People have clearly positively received the music, and I think really the more content I put out, the more I gain traction with my music. People are just going to continue to flock in and consume my music. Since my singles were released a little bit over a month ago, I've received feedback from all over the world and have well over 200,000 views and reactions on my video content from places like Angola, India, the Philippines, Nigeria, Brazil, and even locally here in the United States. It's definitely been well received, and so I'm excited about that.
All right. What about back home? How are your people feeling about it back home in Nigeria?
Yeah, my people are so proud of me. My mom, she has a copy of my record, the full album, even though it's not been released yet, and she's showing it to all of her friends, and and she's bragging about me over there. So it definitely brings a smile to my face. People are inboxing me and telling me how inspired they are that I chose to pursue this dream of mine, and they're really not surprised that I was able to produce this quality of work, and even I am just as excited. And so I think in general, the vibe has just been really positive. I'm really excited for the release of the album. I only have 2 songs out, and I'm creating all this buzz already. I don't even know what it's going to be like when everything's been released and finally out in public. So it'll be awesome. I'm definitely excited about that.
Definitely. And you kind of mentioned something a while ago about, the more you put out, the more content you put out, the better the traction. I don't know if you kind of remember years ago, it seems like an artist can live off of maybe an album for a few years. But nowadays with, short attention spans and so many other artists out there doing the same thing, it seems like you have to, provide fresh content on almost a weekly to month-to-month basis. What's your whole view of that?
I think as an artist, you have to speak. Our art is really our platform, and it's our mechanism and our voice in today's world. And so you have to have a voice, you have to have a message. And I think, just being consistent with your work and tuning in and honing your craft really is what would set you apart as an artist. Nobody blows up overnight. It's really rarely ever an overnight, hit. But that consistent work and that commitment to honing your craft and doing the best you can to release great content, that's lasting. I look at my work as, something of eternal value. Just think about it. When you were a kid, you had music that you listened to as a child that you still remember today. And it actually captures the season in your life that you were in at that time. There's certain songs that as soon as it comes on, you remember exactly where you were when you first heard it. That's what music does. It's timeless. And so, I want to be able to capture that, that piece of people's memories where they hear my music 10, 15, 20 years from now, and they can look back and remember, wow, I remember when I first heard that guy's song. That's really what I want to create. It's music that's timeless and music that can reach people, speak to their issues, speak to their situations, and ultimately capture where they are in their lives and just be a memory for years to come. That's really what I'm looking at. And I think as an artist, you have to have that perspective. Otherwise, you're just going to fall flat, and you might have one or two great songs, and that's about it. So I think you should have that in mind as an artist. When all your work, so
yeah. Yep. Man, I always understood, like, to make a great radio single, sometimes the words have to be a little repetitive. And sometimes I found it to be true in gospel music too, and Christian music. Like, you have to have something that's easy to understand and sing along, and also be inspirational and appeal to what people are feeling, because a lot of people kind of go through the same things. And we're all looking for liberation. We're all looking for freedom. We're all looking for our place with God. So my question to you is, how important are lyrics to you? Do you find yourself, tweaking this, tweaking that, to not only, sing about your testimony, but to appeal to how people may perceive your message?
Yeah, I think lyrics are the most important part of my songs. They tell my story and convey my message in a way that nothing else can. The challenge with the lyrics, though, is that they don't always flow cleanly with the melody of the song, right? Part of the challenge of songwriting is really kind of knowing what lyrics to keep or change while still, maintaining the overall message and emotion of the song. And this could require, some rewriting and refining until it sounds just right. I rarely kind of think of, is this going to be great for radio while I'm writing the song? I say, on the other hand, is this conveying my message in a way that the listener can hear and truly understand my heart and my emotion in the content of the lyrics? That's what makes great songwriting. If you're able to do that, the radio is going to take care of itself. If you have a great sound, you have a great catchy tune and what have you to go with that, that only simply enriches what's already been created in the DNA of the song. You have great lyrics, that's really the center of it. And of course, having a great melody to go with it. That hand in hand with the production quality and all the elements of the production work that's done on the song, that is what carries the song ultimately and allows it to prosper on radio and be, a hit. Think about all the great songs that have been hits. You think about, for instance, Michael Jackson. I'm going to go away from my genre, for example. Michael Jackson is the guy who sold multiple, platinum records over time, and his music is timeless, right? If you listen to the quality of his music, based on just the lyrical content of it, told stories, but at the same time, that was what carried the strong production quality of songs like Thriller and Bad and all the great songs that he wrote. He had great lyrics to go with them. And I think ultimately you have to kind of think of it as that. As a songwriter, I'm writing great songs. They're going to have great melodies, but ultimately the lyric is what carries it and allows it to really speak to the hearts of people. So absolutely, I think lyrics are the most important piece of it. And I do the best I can to make sure it's captured in my songwriting.
Definitely. I definitely agree with your point of view. Tell us, though, from your perspective about what separates your two singles. What's the difference between the two sounds you created for Lifted and what we will hear tonight on your song Glorious?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, Lifted, is, I feel like was a God-given song. God gave me that song in my heart. And I was sitting one day and he just dropped the entire song, the verse, the lyrics, the bridge, all of it just came in one, just while I was sitting down. And I wrote it, and, it has a very Nashville sound to it. I lived in Nashville, I told you earlier, and during my college years. It's the heart of country music. It draws a lot of inspiration from that time in my life. And it also tells a story of how God helped me overcome some personal struggles as a teenager. And so, it holds a really special place in my heart for that reason. Glorious, on the other hand, is a really high-energy praise song. It has a very up-tempo and catchy sound to it. It almost feels like a blend of Afro-Caribbean beats mixed with like a modern gospel. The best I can describe it is like an Israel Houghton style song, sound, if you will. It has this very, distinct guitar drive and just beats that make you want to get up and dance. I remember the first time I played it in my house, and this is when I was still sampling the song. My 1-year-old daughter rushed into the room and started dancing. And my two other kids came in and they all started dancing in a circle. And that never happens for any music. I play music in my house all the time. My kids rarely ever just get up and start dancing. But that was something that was really a joy to watch my kids come in and really just enjoy the music that Daddy, wrote. And it's a memory I would never forget. So that's what Glorious is. It's just this really catchy song. And it gets you on your feet really quickly and dancing and just praising God. So I'm really excited for that one song.
Definitely. You ever heard of the kid test? Like, to tell if you have a great song, a great record, is doing the kid test. That is letting the kid hear it, and if they start to repeat the words or dance to it, you have a great record.
Yeah. I haven't heard it, but that reaction from my children let me know that I had something on my hands.
Definitely.
I play music all the time, like I said. I play music all the time in my house. I have a home studio. And my children rarely ever respond to music like that. But when they heard Glorious, they couldn't stop dancing. Even till now, even when I play it, they hear it and they always come in and start dancing. It's really fun to watch. But you're absolutely right. I hadn't heard about it before, but that's definitely a really good point. I knew, especially when I saw them come in and start dancing to it. So yeah, absolutely.
Did they recognize it as one of your songs?
I eventually told them it was me. I think my 6-year-old, my daughter, knew it was me. She knows my voice. My son kind of struggled a little bit because he didn't know who it was, and and I had to tell him that's Daddy's song, and he was like, "That's Daddy's song," and he got really excited too, and it just kind of went from there. And my 2-year-old, she doesn't know better. She doesn't know if she's 1-year-old. She doesn't know if it's Daddy's song or not. She just likes the song. She was just dancing and running around in circles and what have you. So it was fun. It's fun to watch my kids respond to that. So, yeah.
Right on. Man, I always don't get to ask this question, and sometimes I regret it when I don't. But that spark of inspiration, that moment in your life that changed everything from you, could have been an event. It could have been that you saw something, heard something, met someone, or somebody said something to you. But there was one point in your life where something somewhere made music become what you wanted to do, and not only wanted to do, but needed to do with your life. Can you describe that point, that event in your life?
Yeah, it was a pretty somber, and I think just in general, the tone of my conversation has been really positive in general, because I'm generally a very positive person. But it's interesting. What inspired me to do music was not as positive. It wasn't really a positive experience. I remember a couple of years ago, I was sleeping and I got a call from my sister in the middle of the night. And apparently my mother just had a massive stroke and she was in the ICU. I remember just falling to the ground, with my hands over my head, just kind of like in that fetal position, but sitting upright, And, I was just completely helpless to change the situation. She was back home in Nigeria. She's so far away from me. And she's in the middle of the situation, and I can't do anything. I can't even touch her. I can't hold her. And it was just a difficult, painful time, And I called the hospital to talk to her, and she didn't even remember who I was. She didn't know my name. She didn't know anything. Her memory was completely gone. And I remember, praying for her with whatever little strength I had. And shortly after praying, I suddenly started to think about this word, hippocampus. Hippocampus, that's the word I just suddenly started thinking about it. And I didn't understand how it got there. I just started thinking about it. And, I asked my wife, I said, do you know the meaning of this word? And I said, can you Google it? And she went ahead and she Googled the word. And apparently the word hippocampus means it's the portion of the brain that controls memory, emotions, and motivation. And in that moment, I realized that God had put that word in my heart to pray for my mom. Because before that, I had never heard that word before, but somehow I knew it. And I began to pray for her for her hippocampus to be healed and all of that. And, and I'm happy to say that now she's been completely restored and healed from the stroke. And she didn't lose any memory, any brain or organ function or anything like that. It was an absolute miracle that she's still alive and that she's completely healed at this point. And as I went through that experience, I realized that this experience was a lot bigger than me. This was not just about me. This was when I started really kind of writing my music. There's so many people walking through difficult situations, either dealing with a terminal sickness or death of a loved one, or, just going through a really hard time. And they just want to know that God can hear their prayers and that God can actually do something and he can actually speak to them. I know now that this album, titled Speak Lord, I'm Listening, is much bigger than I am. It's to let the world know that God still speaks to people and that he wants us, just to listen to him when he speaks. That was my first-hand experience, and I'm not kidding, man. I get goosebumps every time I remember that night, and that was what inspired me to write my music. And I really think that the world needs to hear this. That people going through stuff and need to hear that God can speak, and if only they would just be willing and open to listening and hearing from him. I think ultimately this is what this album is communicating to people.
Definitely. All right. So what's on the horizon for your short-term goals? Any live performances coming up?
All right. So, I sing every Sunday at my church. I have a baby coming in a week. My wife is full-term pregnant. Yeah, thank you. So I'll be on daddy duty in the short term. I'm excited to meet my newborn son and, looking forward to holding him. This is just a really precious season for me. So many beautiful things are happening for me, and I'm so excited for that. My tour dates will be listed on my Facebook page. I'm going to be posting that shortly. January 1, 2019. I'm going to have some performances locally here in Dallas, and I'm going to post all of that stuff on my Facebook page. It's called Obi1 Music. That's Obi1 as in the number one, the actual number one, and music is MUZIK. And that's my Facebook page. So you can go on there and see all of that information come January. So that's that's what's going on for now.
Nice. And guys, just in case you need those links, I do have those in the description of this episode in the show notes. All you have to do is click the hyperlink. I'll take you right to it. So your debut album is releasing when?
It will be July 19, 2019.
Cool. Full-length album or EP?
It's a full-length album, 10 songs.
Debut, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you feeling any pressure?
Oh, yes, I am. It's definitely been pressure. It's, being a debut artist it's pressure. Nobody knows who you are, and you're trying to get your name out there. You're trying to make great music, but you know what? God is behind it, and I'm confident that this music will go out and people will hear it and people would respond to it. And, I'm excited for that. I'm just excited for that.
Definitely. Before we cut to your music, give some shout outs to some acts, some talents out there that inspire you, to pursue the music as you are.
Yeah. Israel Houghton is my biggest influence. Brad Hammond. For King and Country, they're making some really good music. They have this new single out called Joy. Really just a great song. Torrin Wells is another one of my inspirations. Todd Delaney, Chris Tomlin. I have a variety of inspirations. So all these guys are have played some role in really shaping me as an artist and as an individual and young man. I'm trying to make music here in Dallas. So shout out to all of them. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And Chris Tomlin came to my town a few months ago, and I was trying to go, but I didn't make it. I had to leave out of town. My brother and his wife went, though, and they said they had a blast out there. But I missed that concert. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Tomlin is a great, phenomenal artist. Just a unique songwriter. His songs are so deep and very simple songs, but great melodies and timeless in sound. So he's one of the good ones.
All right, guys, after the music break, it'll be time for our usual tradition. It is called the hot seat. That's where we heat up Obi1's seat, make him sweat a little bit. Our fans love this part of the segment, of course, along with the actual interview, but the audience will get a chance to hear Obi1 sing for us, maybe do some poetry, inspirational speeches, freestyle raps, tell us jokes, tell us a story, or maybe even play a live instrument. But you never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And tonight we'll find out if Obi1 has what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe even some hidden talents. But for right now, we have Obi1 with his song Glorious, and we'll be right back.
Psalm 145 says, all generations shall declare your mighty works and your glorious splendor. Hallelujah. Come on. I have known the greatness of the Lord, majestic in his ways, abundant in his grace. He commands the heavens to bring forth the rain, pours out his spirit like a mighty rushing wind. I have known the greatness of the Lord, majestic in his ways, abundant in his grace. He commands the heavens to bring forth the rain, pours out his spirit like a mighty rushing wind. He is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, voice roaring like the thunder. I have known the power of the Lord, the Ancient of Days. Forever I will praise. Come on now. And he commands the blind eyes to bring forth their sight, pours out his mercy to heal the broken heart. He is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, of heaven now, singing glory and honor to the first and the last. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, voice roaring like the thunder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, voice roaring like the thunder. He's a glorious God. He's a glorious God. He is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, voice roaring like the thunder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, we stand in awe and wonder. Oh, he is the glorious God. Oh, voice roaring like the thunder. Oh, glorious God, glorious. He's a glorious God, glorious. He commands the heavens. He's a glorious God, glorious. Glorious God, glorious. He's a glorious God, glorious. Opens up the blind eyes. He's a glorious God, glorious. Glorious God, glorious. He's a glorious God, glorious. He commands the heavens. He's a glorious God, glorious. Glorious God, glorious. He's a glorious God, glorious. Opens up the blind eyes. He's a glorious God, glorious. He's glorious. Come on. He's worthy. Lift it up now. He's faithful. He's holy. He's mighty. He's awesome. He's glorious. He's glorious. Come on. He's glorious. He's glorious. He's worthy. He's worthy. He's faithful. He's faithful. He's holy. He's holy. He's mighty. He's mighty. He's awesome. He's awesome. He's glorious. He's glorious. He's glorious. He's glorious.
All right, and we are back. That was Obi1 with this song, Glorious. What a wonderful record. Man, you have to get that. Make sure you guys go download that record. The links are in the description of the show. Support. Hard times. Strength comes not from the ease and pleasure of life, but rather from the troubles and challenges. Bodybuilders know that they must strain their muscles in order to make them grow. In the same way, the muscle of your character is strengthened by the difficulties that you endure. If there was no pain, we could not recognize pleasure, much less enjoy it. The hard times give life just as much meaning as the good one. Each obstacle you overcome makes you stronger. Each challenge that you endure makes the good times that much more joyful. Challenge gives us something to do, a way to grow. Imagine how dreary life would be if everything always went the way you wanted. Appreciate the hard times, for they are full of opportunity. Rise to the bitter challenges, and life will be sweet indeed. Take that from me, Dini-Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond. But for right now, let's bring back the man of the moment, Obi1. You're back live with us and in our hot seat. What are you going to perform for us?
All right. I'm going to do a song called Faithful Love. It's one of the songs I wrote on my record, and it really talks just about the love of God. You know, how God, I just want God to pour his love on people and share his love with the world. So it goes like this. Lord, your faithful love blows like the wind. It revives our hearts, renews our minds. Lord, your faithful faithful love. It reaches to the heavens. It ignites the fire. Oh, your unending love. Oh, your faithful love. Oh, revives our hearts. Oh, your faithful love. Pour your faithful love over your people, Lord. That's it.
Nice. I like that. And that's on the new album?
Yes, that's going to be on Speak Lord, coming July 19, 2019.
Nice. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. So I just want to say thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you again, Obi1. It's been a complete honor getting to hear what you've come up with so far, and I'm looking forward to the album when it drops in this summer. I mean, not this summer, but next summer. But for now, we'll say goodbye, and thanks again for your time and your answers. At this point, I do want to offer you the open floor just in case I missed something that you wanted to talk about, or maybe you want to shout out somebody. Whatever you wanted to say, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I just want to shout out my mother and my wife, Ruby, and my beautiful children. I just want to shout them out, tell them I love them. And you know, I have a baby coming in a week, and I'm excited to meet him. And it's been an honor joining you guys on this call, getting a chance to share my passion, share my music with y'all. God bless and love y'all.
Definitely appreciate it. Have a great one.
All right, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/Only1 Media Group, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the #1 rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable, because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace, and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.